Oos, what's up, warriors? Welcome back to the channel. I thought that caffeine was a performance enhancing compound. I thought that giving it up would affect my focus, my productivity, my performance in competition. Well, it's been 260 days with no caffeine. That's no pre workout, no coffee, no caffeine of any kind. And, well, I've been wrong. In this video, I'm going to share with you 5 unexpected benefits that I received from quitting coffee so far. And if you don't know me, my name is Nakapan. I'm on the quest to become the first Triple Crown world champion. As a world champion in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, Judo, and Kudo in the over 45 division. I'm chronicling all my experiences so that I can share what I've learned with the world, but also so we can chase greatness together. So, I quit coffee because I'm looking for every single biohack, every single advantage that I can get to make sure that I achieve these lofty goals in the next 5 years. And that includes getting rid of marijuana 8 years ago, nicotine, also cutting out sugar, and that's refined sugar, right? Table sugar. I think you still got to eat a lot of fruit and healthy sugars, but also PMO. Get rid of PMO. Now, caffeine for me has been a abusive relationship. I used to drink probably 3 20-ounce coffees a day, perhaps 2 to 3 double espressos a day, chasing it down. I love caffeine. I could take caffeine in a lot of different ways. And interestingly enough, I just had a genetics test done, and it said that I really don't tolerate caffeine that well. That's kind of funny because for me, I could drink caffeine probably about 6 p.m. and still be able to go to sleep. Sometimes you got to slam a double espresso after a good meal, and then hopefully go to bed by 10 o'clock. But apparently, that's been always affecting my sleep. Didn't really recognize that. That's one of the great things that I got from getting rid of caffeine is very restful sleep. Is when I get up in the morning, I don't feel as tired anymore. I don't need that caffeine fix. But this is all things that I already knew that I would get from quitting caffeine, right? The steady energy, these are all things that I knew that I wanted to get. But a couple things that were unexpected, these 5 things that I'll tell you about. Also, one of the reasons that I needed to figure out was I was cramping a lot during training and during competition. And a lot of that cramping I thought was coming from hydration issues and electrolyte issues. And I tried to correct those as best as I could, drinking a lot of different sodium, potassium, magnesium, these types of things to make sure that the muscles are contracting and relaxing the way they should. And I'm still getting a lot of problems with that. And I believe that's because of my caffeine issues, drinking a lot of caffeine. And one of the things I would always do is find some caffeine to drink before competition because in my mind, I thought if I didn't do that, I would lose my edge, right? So oftentimes before a big competition, I'm trying to find some double espressos. Oftentimes now, coffee is such a socially acceptable substance that it's everywhere, right? So you can go to a competition and they'll have an espresso bar there. But if that wasn't there, I would be very concerned. I have to find it in the morning. I have to make sure I plan out my day the night before so that I can get my caffeine. And I remember watching Gary Tonin. He would drink these 5-hour energy drinks before his competition. That would be like his whole thing to try to get dialed in. And so therefore, I kind of felt like, well, if these guys are doing it, that's definitely something I have to look for. So I'm always looking for my caffeine fix to get in there and get into the best that I can. One of the things, because of this, I'm describing anxiety, right? Like almost like a crack addict, where I'm anxious about where, if I don't get it, what's going to happen. Also, the anxiety that I get when I drink too much, because it's like drinking alcohol, right? Not that I drink alcohol, I had never had that problem in my life, but drinking alcohol, it's like you want to get drunk, drunk enough, but once you have one too many, it's almost like you fall apart. And same thing with me with the caffeine. It's like I was drinking too much before competition or before teaching a class, and I'd just be like shaking. I could see my hand shaking, and I get really, really jittery. So that's the one of the benefits that I experienced. One of those hidden benefits that I want to share with you is less anxiety. And I said again, less anxiety from not getting the coffee or anxiety from drinking too much coffee. So I felt like it was a freedom from that as well. And also, I never felt I was a really anxious person, but definitely I could feel that when I drank coffee. This has also allowed me to kind of figure out, as you know, I'm adding a lot of different supplements into my diet. I can discover for myself how I feel, right? And I can think about it like, how do I feel when I take this supplement? Do I feel anxious? Do I feel jittery? Do I feel tired? I feel that I'm much more dialed in and connected to my body and my mind because I'm not drinking caffeine. But that could be just me. Number two, this muscle cramping that I described I can't say it's totally gone because, there are some days that I've had to compete 14 judo matches in one day and just couldn't stay on top of my water. But I do understand now that this is something that I need to be aware of and to plan for during a long day of competition, is continuing to make sure I get enough hydration, get enough water, get enough electrolytes, right? But what I have felt, especially during the training, is I used to get these just excruciating cramps in my abdomen. I don't know if you ever felt that. It's like an ab cramp, right? It almost felt like you're being ripped apart from the inside. And I would just basically freeze up. If I've been training for an hour, I often don't drink water when I'm training on the training floor, and that sometimes would be detrimental to my practice because I would just freeze up and I can't move, and I need somebody to come help me. And there's nothing really you can do. It's like with a foot cramp, you can kind of flex your foot and try to work it out on the calf. With a stomach cramp, it's like I can't move. I'm doubled over. I don't know how anybody can come help me even. So I haven't experienced one of those excruciating ab cramps since I've given up caffeine. Number three, time and simplicity. As I said, I'm looking for coffee a lot of times. I'm standing in line. Sometimes I'm at an airport and I have, I drink coffee to pass the time, or I did drink coffee to pass the time. So I'm willing to stand in a long Starbucks line or a long coffee line just to be able to find it. And sometimes the coffee that you get is not necessarily the best. And I'm happy that I'm free from that. Um, this is not coffee. This is one of the things that I've definitely come to really love giving up coffee, is rooibos tea. I don't know if you're familiar with this. Rooibos tea, the one that I get is directly from South Africa. That's where I discovered it probably about 8 or 9 years ago when I was traveling there. It was just a delicious tea that has a lot of health benefits in it, and it has no caffeine. And so you can get it from this company called Cape Grocers. You can get it from them, and it comes. You have to order a lot at the same time, obviously, because it's coming from overseas. But once it arrives, it's very delicious, and you can drink it pretty much all throughout the day. I often get it loose leaf when I go to places that people like to drink coffee, and I'm no longer drinking coffee, but I don't want to make them feel awkward about it. So this is something that I'll continue to drink, and hopefully you can give it a try too. If you're looking for more help on how to improve your nutrition and dial that in with your training, just make sure you go to the description below. I do have a AI prompt that you can use to plug in your weight, your focus of exercise, any competitions you might be doing, especially if you're in grappling arts or striking arts, combat sports in general, and it can help you create a nutrition plan that you can kind of interact with every day and kind of craft to your own taste. So make sure you check that out in the description below. It's really helped me out and make sure that I've made weight at all my competitions, and I'm still continuing to refine it as we kind of go forward. Number four, one of the things that I was trying to do the first time I quit caffeine. First, I quit caffeine about 3 years ago. No, actually 5 years ago for 3 years. And one of the ways that I did that was substituting caffeinated coffee with decaf coffee. Some people say that it doesn't really, it's not delicious, it's not as satisfying, and some people just can't drink it. I definitely drank it for a long period of time. And what this did give me was some almost like anxiety from it, because whenever I went to go buy coffee, I was like, "Are you sure this is decaffeinated? Are you sure this is decaf?" Because I could have sworn at least a couple times where I've ordered coffee from a coffee shop where that was decaf, I would drink it and I would just get the jitters, right? And I would feel that feeling again, that dopamine hit and getting that energy that I think that I'm supposed to have. Remember that this energy you're borrowing from tomorrow and putting it in today. You're going to have to pay that debt in the future. So that's something that I didn't really want to do and didn't want to worry about anymore. So I stopped drinking decaf. Recently, I went back because I had a delicious cup of decaf somewhere, and it just hurt my stomach. I don't know what happened. And so now, therefore, I just avoid it entirely. I also understand that decaffeinated coffee has a lot of chemicals, a lot of treatments in it that you might want to avoid. One thing that helped me in my mind solidify the fact that I didn't want to drink coffee anymore was the fact that it's one of the most pesticide-ridden crops that you have out there. So you do have to be very careful about that, where you get your coffee. Make sure it's organic. Make sure it's coming from a good source. And I just don't want to have. I'm happy that I don't have to worry about it anymore. One quick thing though, I'm not here about being anti-coffee, anti-caffeine. Again, you know that I'm just doing these things to make sure that I'm improving myself. I know that most of the world drinks coffee, and I'm not saying that's good or bad. I'm just saying for me right now, it's just not a very good thing if I'm trying to reach the goals that I want to reach. And I thought it was a good thing, and this is kind of what I'm sharing with you, is that it really helped me to see that I could do without this. Number five, deeper focus and really getting things done. And I thought that caffeine was that magic elixir, or coffee was a magic elixir. It definitely made things that were mundane and boring more interesting. And so, therefore, doing some spreadsheets or doing some analysis, working on your business, this was something that I would definitely want to pair with drinking a nice cup of coffee. And so, therefore, it just became a really big habit. And I thought that maybe if I stopped drinking coffee, that these things would become even harder for me. So, of course, I was wrong. Now I feel like I'm extremely productive, and that's because I can really focus my attention on one thing for long periods of time. Perhaps I was at the time when I was drinking a lot of coffee, feeling like I was getting a lot of things done, but my mind was over here. I was doing there. I was over there. I was trying to multitask, and so therefore, it was a false sense of productivity that I was getting from everything. But now I can focus on long periods of time on one thing and get it done and get that sense of satisfaction of getting it done. And that's my dopamine hit that I'm getting right now, is really making sure I accomplish my goals and working towards them and just checking things off a to-do list and checklist. That feels really good to me. So just wanted to quickly address the myth, if that's something you wanted to give up. I've heard a lot of people come to me and they said, that they're very motivated or inspired by these videos. Again, that's not my intention, just to share with you what I've experienced, and maybe you'll take it on, but I'm here to support you. So let me know in the comments below. Have you ever tried to quit caffeine? How did you feel about it? Did you go back to it? And what was the results? I would like to know too, because we can share that together. And perhaps anybody who's reading the comments here thinking about quitting caffeine or not quitting caffeine, they can get both sides of the story. Okay, so once again, I'm not against an anti-coffee person, anti-caffeine. More power to you, whatever you want to do. But I'm trying to make sure that things that are improving my life, that I share with the world, and hopefully that you can adopt some of these things as well. Also, if you're really liking the channel, please make sure you like this video. It really helps me a lot. It doesn't take you a lot just to hit that like, and helps me. Now it is the holiday season, so there's not a whole lot going on other than training. If you want to come and train in your Washington, D.C., please come visit Beta Academy. We're right in the heart of the nation's capital. We'd love to have you come by, and we're open pretty much every day. The only day we might not be open is Christmas. We even train on New Year's, and I like to start the new year the way I want the rest of the year to go, which is some good training. So if you're ever in DC, please come on by, like this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and follow the story. My next competition is going to be January 31st. It's another judo tournament. I'm working on some things to make sure I don't get called for penalties, and I'll be able to share that with the world really soon. And I'll see you in the next one.